What's up, everybody? Brandon Warne for Zone Coverage. We are doing Hanging with Mr. Hughes. This is part of the Midwest Swing podcast. We may be looking for a different name for that because it is kind of cheesy. But Phil Hughes, right-handed pitcher for the Minnesota Twins, hanging out with us today. What's going on, man?
Not too much. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. You guys are getting ready to take off for the All-Star break. Any big plans for you as you get that 4 or 5 days off?
Yeah, I'm going to go home, Southern California, spend a few days, see my family, hang out, relax, not think about baseball too much, and that's kind of it. And then fly back to Houston and get ready for another 80 games.
What are your expectations weather-wise for California? I mean, is it going to be, I guess, 90-some degrees in Minneapolis today?
Yeah.
Just sweltering. Is it going to be like this? Is it going to be nicer? What's it going to be like?
It's supposed to be hot. Yeah, they've had like over 100 the last few days, so which is nice. You know, it's all good.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
So this is year 4 with you in the Twins. So basically what I want to ask is, how well did you know Minneapolis before you signed here? Like, what were you expecting coming in?
I didn't know all that much. Just from coming here as a visiting player, you know, I've been through the town, and a couple buddies of mine that play hockey that reside back here. And so
Bugsy was one of them, right?
Yep.
Malone.
And so they always had good things to say, and I couldn't be happier. I came here, and it's it's great. I know it's been the winter here, so I get the best of it.
Right. Well, and Malone helped you find a place to live, didn't he?
Yeah.
Or general area.
Yeah. So Ryan Malone, a good buddy of mine, we lived out in Plymouth for a while, and then I moved downtown about a year ago.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it's I'm just like 3 blocks from the ballpark. So
well, that's kind of nice. No real commute. Although the light rail was, I bet you don't take the light rail. I'm just kidding.
I actually have before.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
great.
great.
Yeah. To the airport, it's awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
That's kind of nice.
Yeah.
So how has Minneapolis, like, your perception of it changed in the 4 years that you've been here?
I don't think my perception's changed all that much. It's a really active city, I feel like, especially when the weather gets nice. You see a lot of people out and about, running and riding bikes. And, it's a great place to live, especially in the summers. And everybody's out doing stuff and going to the lakes and doing all that kind of thing. So it's a fun town.
So I know you like Spoon and Stable. What are some of your spots downtown that you like to check out?
It's rare that we actually get a chance to go and eat dinner someplace. But yeah, Spoon and Stable is one of my favorites. Bachelor Farmer is always really good. Gavin just opened up a place in Wayzata, Belcourt. That's really good.
I've never tried that. I haven't been there yet.
Yeah, that's excellent. It's kind of, I feel like Minneapolis has evolved into like a really big food city.
Yeah.
Maybe people wouldn't expect that, but there's a ton of great restaurants and things to do. And but anytime we get an opportunity on a day game or something like that to go have dinner, I'll go with my wife and try and check out something new. A lot of times we get so few opportunities, I don't want to ruin it in a place that I don't know.
Right.
So we tend to kind of hit up the usual spots.
You mentioned a wife. You got married now this season. How's that going? I mean, obviously it's an adjustment. You were 30 when you got married, a little later than some people. But is that everything good there?
Yeah, it was great. I decided to wait a little while. My dad was a little bit older when he got married, had me, and I always felt like he was a good role model. So hopefully, that's something I can, pass down to my kids and feel like I have a little bit of life experience before I became a father. So that's something that's down the road for sure.
Well, you're about my age, and I just had my first kid 7 weeks ago. Her first game was 4th of July. So she was pretty excited. So are you thinking like kids soon or a while yet?
We're talking about it.
You got to start the negotiations, man.
Yeah. It's tough. This type of lifestyle is not exactly the best for having kids. They're moving all over the place. And more so when they start school, it becomes a little bit more of a challenge. But you find a way to make it work.
So when you go back to New York City, what's that like for you? Because obviously you grew up there in a lot of ways because you came up so young. Is it a fun trip for you? Does it give you memories of what it was like there? Or what does New York City mean to you now, and what's it like to go back?
Yeah, it's cool. It's like a different perception. I feel like now when I go back, I feel like more of a tourist than when I lived there. Especially you have games every day, and so it's kind of like Groundhog Day almost. You get up, go to the ballpark, come home. But now it's 3-4 days a year that we get to go. And so I try to enjoy the sights and things more than I did when I was living there and playing there. So I do enjoy it. It's a great town, and obviously a lot of good memories come from there. And it's always nice to go back, especially seeing the guys that are still playing there that I played with. So it's always a good time.
Are you still close to anybody you played with there, as far as like who you keep in contact with? I mean, Eduardo Nunez was here up until last year. I think you guys might play there.
Yeah, we played together there. I still talk quite a bit with Brett Gardner, CC, some of the guys are still there. The guys like Andy Bennett, who's since retired, I still keep in touch with. So, yeah, I mean, that's the thing you kind of value the most about places that you played in the past, is just the relationships and the people and the experiences. So that's kind of what I take away most.
What's it like playing in a building, granted the old Yankee Stadium more so than the new one, with all that history, and at any given day somebody could come back, whether it's the since past Yogi Berra or all those guys that are still around or have been around. Does it carry any added meaning as a person that plays big league baseball to have those guys around?
Yeah, no, it is cool, and we get a little bit of that here with guys like Tony O and Ron Carew, and all the guys that come back, and there we had Hughes, Gossage, Guidry in spring training, and Yogi Berra before he passed would be around, and those are the cool things that you really take away from it, especially with Old Timers Day and everybody comes back. It really makes you appreciate the history of the team before you got there, and it makes you respect the fact that your window is very short, and whatever impact you can have on whether it's the fans or the people that you play with, it's really it's a responsibility that I don't think you should take very lightly.
For sure. What are your favorite road cities when you are packing up to go on the road? I mean, you have 2 or 3, 4 or 5, or are there a bunch?
Yeah, there's a few. I really like being a West Coast guy. I enjoy going back there, whether it's the Bay Area or Southern California. Seattle, I really enjoy. Obviously, Chicago's a great town. Going there. Boston, New York. You get spoiled with all these towns that you get to visit. But I would say definitely the West Coast.
So a little closer to home too, I suppose, helps. What's been most different? You did pitch as a reliever, I believe in 2009 for a while. What's been most different now about that than that time? Obviously, because you are older and a different pitcher at this point. Has it been a big change, or is it still pretty similar?
It's been a little bit of a transition. Back in those days, I kind of had a pretty set role as to what I was going to do coming out of the pen. Whereas now, I kind of have to be ready at any moment, which is fine because I kind of learned how to get ready pretty quick, and just to be ready, whenever that phone call may come. So it's been a little bit of a transition, but I felt like whatever I could do, right now to help the team was the best route. So far so good.
What's the most millennial thing about you? I had to throw that in there just because I messed it. I know you're active on Twitter. You're better than Glenn Perkins on Twitter, right? I mean, I think you have.
Following wise, yes.
No. I mean, just better at Twitter.
Oh yeah. Lately, for sure.
It's probably neck and neck.
Yeah. When he tries, he's up there. But I would say consistently, I am a better tweeter.
Is there anybody else on the team that's close? Because it's pretty quiet club Twitter-wise.
Yeah, I don't think that anybody really compares, to be honest. I mean,
I agree.
I'm right up there with the best, yeah, for sure. So,
is that
the most millennial thing about me? There's not too many. I drive a gas guzzler.
Is that the thing that I saw you with in Plymouth, the range?
That's my wife's car now.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't. I would say, probably Twitter. I guess if I had to pick one.
Or living downtown.
Yeah, living downtown.
You go to,
kind of made that tradition. Not too many breweries, no. Yeah, I would say Twitter, I guess, is the most boring thing about me. As boring as that is, but yeah.
Well, so what was it like playing on a team with, you went your first round 2004, if I remember correctly. You, Trevor, and Perkins all on the same team. Obviously, Trevor and him taken by the same team and then you by the Yankees. Did you guys have any familiarity? Obviously, you and Trevor both coming out of California. Did you guys ever know of each other at that point? Or?
Yeah, we did, and we worked out a little bit. Having the same agent, he would throw me.
Oh yeah, Neds, that's right.
Yeah, and I would work out with him sometimes down there in Southern California. And then I knew Glenn from like a rookie development camp that we went to. I think that was in like 2006 or something like that.
Okay.
So I knew those guys a little bit, and it's just funny how it works out. And we're on the same team, and I think we were like 4 or 5 picks apart, all 3 of us or something like that. So
Trevor's pretty good at Twitter.
Yeah.
But he's not a twin anymore.
Yep. Yeah. No, he's not bad. He's not bad when he tries.
But not as good as you.
No.
You're the effort guy.
Yeah, he's the effort guy. If you could throw one pitch that you don't throw in your current repertoire, what would you pick?
Probably a knuckleball, I guess.
And can you throw a knuckleball? I mean, do you mess with one?
I mean, I do. I mess with it, but it's not. Which is why I don't throw it. I feel like if anybody has a good knuckleball, they're throwing.
Break out, yeah. Have you altered your repertoire at all? Obviously, you haven't thrown that much, but do you plan on paring it down, or is it pretty similar?
Yeah, I've mixed in a slider a little more than I have in the past.
You're kind of a tinkerer, right? A little bit.
A little bit, yeah. So you'll see that maybe a little more often now. But for the most part, I've just tried to keep everything kind of the same. But yeah, slider I think is the one thing that is.
So you locker next to Glenn Perkins, who's almost never here. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Who's the worst locker mate that you've had in all your years in the big leagues? Because you're coming up on, have you been in the big leagues 10 years? I don't know. So you mean you've had a few guys that probably have gotten on your nerves, right?
I've been pretty lucky as far as locker mates.
Well, I mean, we're saying this playfully, so we don't want this to get out and have somebody sending you hate tweets.
I to be honest, though, I was always pretty lucky with my locker mates. Can't think of anybody that kind of bothered me too much. Some guys are messy, and I don't really take well to that. They got stuff lying all over the place and shoes that are in your area and stuff like that.
Anything funny in the locker rooms? Any Lucky Charms or
maybe like
candles or something?
Escobar's got that horse.
Kevin Kowalski, have anything in your?
Who's that?
The Met story of the phallus that was left in Matt Harvey's.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, we're going down a weird road there. You never had anything like that, I don't think.
No, nothing like that. But yeah, Escobar's got his horse.
Is he the funniest guy on the team?
I think so. Yeah, he's hilarious.
Did you have a nickname? Because he did the nicknames. I don't remember if he gave you one.
Philly Hugh or something like that. I think
I wonder where he came up with that one.
Yeah. Yeah, but everything's Caballo, so
horse.
Yeah. Everything's horse.
What hitter do you least like to face? Because obviously you faced a lot of guys.
Yeah.
We don't want to give any ammunition to them, but when you see a guy come up, you're like, man, I know this guy.
Well, I mean, all it takes is a quick search on Baseball Reference, and you'll find that it's Miguel Cabrera.
Who wants to face that guy though? That guy covers the plate. Even now, he's 30. He's like a week older than Joe Mauer, a couple days older than Joe Mauer.
Yeah, he's ridiculous. He's something like 20 for 45 with 8 homers and all these things. And every time I face the Tigers, I get everybody thinks I'm a Twitter, so you can't avoid it.
Do people give you a lot of crap on Twitter?
Fair amount, but that's part of the beauty of it. Is you're accessible, and when people feel like they're talking to you, and they're on there, but then they're also behind the protection of the screen. So you. It's not too bad.
I appreciated your Deadspin tweet of the guy calling for an inside fastball. And what bothered me, and I feel bad because it was a woman who wrote it, and I know she probably got some negative attention. And she is a smart person. She just maybe didn't know this thing. But I appreciate it. You're like, yeah, that's just a fastball inside. We probably should run that through. I don't know how you can get through editing without somebody knowing that.
Right, and Deadspin's reaches a pretty large audience. So for that headline to be, here's this catcher basically calling for the hitter to hit, I think is an unfair statement, whether he meant to throw at him or not. So, I definitely wasn't the first person to be like, hey, I don't think that means what you think it does, but that's the beauty of it. You can retract it. It's all going to live on forever. So,
do you think it's more fair now? You can go after someone who writes something where in the past it'd just go in the paper and it'd be hard to.
Yeah, and you'd have to track the person down. And
yeah.
I don't think that was right. And it's like, well, I can't go and burn up every paper that was printed about it. So,
go and light newsstands on fire.
Tear down the internet. Do you think of yourself as an old school or new school guy for baseball statistics?
I'm probably somewhere in between. I'm pretty old school in the sense that I believe in sticking what's working for you, and not letting statistics get in the way of your strengths necessarily. But I'm coming around to a lot of the new stuff that we have nowadays with spin rates and arm angles.
We talked about spin rate on your pitches earlier.
Yeah, so I enjoy having that information because it tells me what I can get better at. But at the same time, I feel like if you're doing something really well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it type thing. So I'd say I land somewhere in the middle.
Did you feel like Target Field was a good fit for you as a park when you signed here?
I do, yeah. I always enjoyed pitching here as a visiting player. And, I don't know if it's changed too much, but it was always kind of thought as a friendly pitcher's park.
Especially for a fly ball guy.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of regressed more towards the middle in that respect now. But unless you ask hitters, then it's a very friendly pitcher's park. Especially if you ask Dozier.
I'll have to remember to do that. Last thing I got for you, is there any hitter whose number you've had to this point? And I know you probably don't want to tempt fate, but is there a hitter you felt like you've had a good run against?
The problem is they're all retiring.
That's good though, because then we don't put any bad mojo out there. So the next time they hit you, they take you deep.
You know, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I usually exploit guys that are in their older years that are bats have slowed down a little bit.
I
think Zunino over in Seattle, I've kind of had his number a little bit. Adam Lynn for a while there early in my career.
Sure.
Yeah, there's not too many, to be honest with you.
He's Phil Hughes. I'm Brandon Warne. You've been hanging out with Mr. Hughes on Midwest Swing, part of the Cold Omaha Podcast Network.